What is up, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market didn't do well today. It was one of those days. It was pretty rough out there. S&P 500 down 0.6%, Dow Jones down 0.3%, Nasdaq 100 down 1.5%, and the Russell 2000 pretty much broke even, down almost 0.05% on the day. And today we're going to be talking more about the markets, breaking down some technicals, going over 10 stocks to buy now. And I also want to share with you guys what I did in the stock market today, stocks I own right now, and in general where my head is at as a trader, as an investor, and where do I think the stock market, if I were to guess, is going here in the short term. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to join the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group, get yourself 4 stocks from WeBull and $30 from M1 Finance. All of those are free and linked right down below in the description box. So let's get into it. Markets just closed about 10-15 minutes ago, and what we're seeing here on the S&P 500 is a couple of things, especially here on the 5-day 5-minute. One, the first thing I'm seeing is the uptrend and this pattern of hitting all-time highs and hitting higher highs day after day pretty much in the past couple of days. It is broken, right? At least in the short term, it's broken. We did not hit a higher high in the uptrend. We did not hit an all-time high today. And in fact, we actually almost broke this downtrend. We're not quite there yet, but we're almost there here on the 5-day 5-minute. Take a look. We actually held a higher low this morning as the markets open. We hit 37.95. We tried spiking up to that all-time high. We hit 38.15 and we failed there, right? And now it seems like if I extend this to the right, this is what I'm saying, that it seems like this uptrend broke. You know, ever since about 1:30 p.m., 2 p.m. here on the East Coast, we've broken that uptrend. And we're not completely collapsing, and I'm not here to fearmonger you guys, but we are seeing steps of a pull down. And on top of that, we are seeing a head and shoulder forming. The good old head and shoulder that it seems like I'm spotting these left and right in the markets these days. And this is another one right here. You have the left shoulder, you have the head, as we saw a double top-ish all-time high hit at 38.25. That hit, the head when we got hit by that resistance, right? And now we're seeing the right shoulder forming as we failed, again, like I said a minute ago, breaking out and hitting a higher high today. We failed doing that. We failed at 38.15 and we collapsed and sold off for the rest of the day. So that is what we're seeing. We're seeing the beginning stages, in my opinion, of a little sell-off. And how is the sell-off going to be? How big is this going to be? Is it going to be 5-10%? Maybe, but it could just be 1-3%. That could be very likely what could happen. And of course, I don't know. I'm not a genius. I'm just here, and I'm not a genie at that as well. And I'm just here telling you guys what I'm thinking based on what I'm seeing, right? We're slowly losing a bit of steam here these past 3 days, and you guys, again, are seeing this head and shoulder start forming, and if this right shoulder completes, we could see a push to 37.80. That could be where we push, which is the resistance from a couple days ago back on the 6th of January, and if that breaks, we'll probably complete that right shoulder downwards to maybe 37.40 to 37.50. And you guys know on the 4-hour chart, and if you guys don't know, I'm going to show you, the markets are pretty overbought. We've talked about this before, right? We have a descending, RSI here, and the stock, or in this case, the index itself, is ascending. So we're seeing a bit of a divergence there between RSI and the S&P 500 index. And again, we're overbought, and we can see on that 5-day 5-minute, again, that head and shoulder forming. That could be the start of this drop, and you can see here on the 4-hour, if we break back into this channel, we could be seeing a push maybe to 3,700 even, maybe 3680, which would be right here. Let me show you guys, right at the support of this channel. And I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but maybe one day, this week, maybe next week, we end up seeing that little drop. And on top of this, guys, like always, I'm not a financial advisor. I could be completely wrong. I'm just looking at this and just giving you guys my thoughts, right, as always. And when it comes to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it held up pretty well compared to the S&P and the Nasdaq today. And you guys can see on this 20-day chart, this is also a bit inflated, you could argue, right? We're struggling the past 3 days. We've been struggling at 3,100, at 31,200, right around there. And this could be setting up for a potential drop. And the next gap that I do see potentially going to on the downside, that's if the Dow Jones ends up breaking. Take a look at this level, guys. It actually held above it. This resistance from the 6th of January, right around 31,000. If it breaks that is where I could see the Dow filling the gap down to 30,600, which you guys know that used to be an all-time high a couple trading days ago. So watch out for that on the downside. That could give the Dow a bit of a downside of a little bit over 1% here, and that's not much, but it's something. It's something of a pull down, which is healthy, like I always say here on the channel, guys. And if 30,600 breaks, that is where we could see maybe a fill down to 30,500 and maybe even 30,250, which was that big resistance from pretty much all of December as we traded within that channel from 29,800 support and 30,250 resistance pretty much all of December, right? So watch out for those levels on the Dow. Nasdaq 100 here, guys. You can see we broke out of this little head and shoulder we were forming a couple weeks ago. We clearly broke that. We broke the neckline here at 12,800. We broke above 12,900, hitting that all-time high at 13,100. And based on this pull down we are seeing right now, we can see the Nasdaq 100 is going towards that 50 SMA. In fact, we're right on top of that right now, which is where we saw that left and right shoulder form in that head and shoulder a couple weeks ago. And that could be where we find support, right? That is, again, where these two shoulders got topped out at. That's where they saw resistance. So maybe 12,800 is where the Nasdaq can go to here in the short term, Nasdaq 100. And if that 50 SMA breaks, 12,800 breaks, we might be going down even lower, maybe mid-12,000s, which from the peak, 13,100 to mid-12,000s, if that does happen, that would be a pretty healthy pull down of about 4 to 5%. So overall, guys, that is the market update. Those are some technicals. I think we are getting a bit toppy here in the markets. Not saying that we're going to drop drastically, not saying we're collapsing, and I'm not saying that there's not more upside in the short term, because there very well could be, guys, but I'm just saying in general here, we are getting a bit lofty in my honest opinion, and I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know down below in the comment section, and if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button. Let's try to get 400 likes on this video. I challenge you guys, smash that like button, and if you're not subscribed, what the heck are you doing? Subscribe to the channel as well while you're at it. And let's get into what I personally did today, which I actually bought some Amazon, right? AMZN. And you're probably thinking, what the heck, Stas? Didn't you just say you think the markets might go lower? Yeah, I did say that, but like I said even before that, no one knows what's going to happen, so I still want to play offense just in case we do continue going up. And the way that you mitigate against the markets going down, like I said, could also happen, obviously. Well, you could have some cash, whether it's 20%, 30% of your portfolio, whatever, maybe even 40%. So I actually picked up some Amazon today. I didn't write it in my notes at the exact price, but it was right around $31.50, I remember, and I am a little bit underwater. And this is actually a swing position. I'm not looking to day trade it, obviously. I mean, I'm still holding on to my shares. For it to be a day trade, you have to get in and out in the same day, hence the word day day trade, right? So I'm looking at this more as a longer term swing. And the way I look at swings, guys, for the most part, I mean, sometimes I do go heavy at first, like 60-70% of my goal position, but other times I go in a bit light. And in this case with Amazon, I went pretty light. So I have a decent position, and full transparency, I bought 2 shares of Amazon. Nothing too crazy, but I wanted to get my feet wet, right? A little $6,000 position there, and I want to actually build that up even further. Maybe get up to, I don't know, maybe 8 shares, maybe 10 shares. So by the looks of that I bought 2 shares today with a goal position size of maybe 8 to 10 shares, that means I'm only in 20 to 25% of my goal position, and that's what I'm comfortable with right now, right, guys? And overall, Amazon is beaten down, and I think the next quarter here is going to be solid, strong when it comes to their earnings, revenue, and the holiday sales, especially in the circumstances we're in. I expect them to do well, to be very strong, and that's just my opinion. So I'm thinking Amazon's beaten down. It hasn't done a lot. I think overall this should be a $3,300, $3,350, $3,400 stock. So $3,100, even if it goes to $3,000, I'm going to be buying more of Amazon. And you guys can see, yeah, there is a bit of a head and shoulder here, which is another reason why I didn't go very heavy. You can see here the left shoulder, the head right here, and the right shoulder forming. So if this plays out, maybe we go down. I mean, it seems like it already played out, the right shoulder. So we'll have to see what happens at 3,100, 3,070 tomorrow. Do we bounce off of there? That could be a spot where I add more into it. So Amazon is really all I ended up adding today, and I'm still in Workhorse WKHS, which did okay. It went up almost 1% today. I'm still holding on to that. I've been in since $22, and SLV is my precious metals play right now. This is actually a way that I have exposure to silver. I also own gold, like I've mentioned before here on the channel, but I like silver a little bit more for the upside, right? So I'm in SLV, I'm in Workhorse, I'm in Amazon, and on top of that, I'm in a lot of cash. And you guys have to realize cash is a position. A lot of people think cash is not a position, but it is. Cash is a position. Think about it. If the markets go down 10% and you're in cash, which does nothing, it's at 0%, you're actually beating the market. So think about it like that. Cash is a position, and I'd love to know what you guys are doing. Let me know down below in the comments. As always, I'm super curious, and I love talking to you all, and I try to at least, to all the comments down below. So now let's get into these 10 stocks. I have 10 stocks here that I'm looking to buy, that I want to add to. Some I actually own in my long-term portfolio, but others, for the most part, I have no ownership in. And stock number 1 is Twitter, guys. And we know Twitter has gotten a lot of traction over the past 4 years because of one man, and that one man is Donald Trump, right? And now Donald Trump is obviously no longer the president, and he's banned from Twitter on top of that. So, Twitter stock got clobbered today, down 6.4%, and it's actually, over the past couple of weeks, down even more than just 6.4%. If we're looking at its peak here at $56, is actually almost in a bear market. And you guys know, if a stock goes down 20% plus from its peak, that is what's known as a bear market. And now Twitter is down almost 16%, so it's literally almost in a bear market at this point in time, which is nuts. And I actually like Twitter. I use Twitter, and not because of Trump, but honestly, a lot of people probably did use Twitter because of Trump, which is why we are seeing this sell-off. But overall, I don't think Twitter is going to collapse now that Trump is no longer president, that he's banned from Twitter. Honestly, I think Twitter's going to move on. Obviously, right? It's going to continue growing. Ads are going to continue doing well, and people are still going to use the platform because Trump wasn't the only reason why people were on Twitter. So you could honestly argue that this sell-off here is a bit overblown. Again, down almost 20% from its peak here, and you guys can see on the 4-hour chart, It's holding its uptrend at a higher low. And although we haven't seen the confirmation of the breakout quite yet, we aren't seeing, a curl back up, we could still see it. The fact that the uptrend is not completely broken, we could still see the consolidation, the support, and the curl back up. That is kind of what I'm waiting for here. So Twitter is definitely worth watching, right? We're holding the uptrend here on the 4-hour chart as of now and on the yearly chart. So this could potentially offer some pretty nice returns, especially if you're looking at the options market, which I haven't looked at the options market for Twitter. But if you're looking at maybe a 50, I don't know the calls. Again, I haven't looked at them. But let's say hypothetically, if you're looking at a $52 call, a $52.50 call, or a $55 call, that could be a decent thing to look at. And again, that's just my opinion. I'm probably going to look at those. And even if you're looking at shares, that could also be interesting when it comes to Twitter. And the next stock here is good old BBY. And would you take a look at that, guys? It is finally back from the dead. This stock was pretty much dead at $100. It was there for about a month. It wasn't doing much, pretty much just hovering from $100 to $105, bouncing in and out of there. And now recently, the stock has completely exploded. It's gone from $100, it broke $105, and now it's trading over $110 as it went up almost 3%, over $3 in today's trading session. And now that it's over $110, we're in this new channel with the next big resistance being at about $120. So I think this could play out. I think we could see over the next 1 to 2 to 3 weeks a move here in BBY from 110 to 120. And that is going to be interesting, 120, because take a look here. This also looks like it could be a head and shoulder forming. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder could meet the neckline at about $120, which again is why I think there could be a move up to $120. And that is where I'd be careful, because if we got rejected at 120, we could be going straight back down to 110 and even lower to complete that right shoulder. And another thing that could happen is we break 120, which at that point in time would not be a head and shoulder. In fact, we could be going back up to the mid 120s at that point, maybe even higher. So BBY is very worth watching here. HD Home Depot is another one that you should be watching. I for sure am watching this. We talked about this a couple videos ago. This was originally, and it still is, guys, don't get me wrong, but we are slowly seeing a breakout here. But this was originally looking like a descending triangle, right? We have support here at 263, and we were downtrending into that support. And I told you guys, if we collapse under 263, look for the gap down, maybe to 250, 245, right around there, right? And I also said if we don't gap down, if we don't break 263, if we break out of this resistance, this downtrending resistance we're seeing, that could be a breakout play, maybe to the 280s plus here on Home Depot. And what do you know? Today, we didn't break out completely, like I said, but we are seeing some upwards momentum. You can see we broke out of 270, we hit 273, stock pulled down, and overall, it pulled down into the close, and overall, it's still holding the uptrend at a higher low on this 5-day, 5-minute over the 180 SMA. So I think HD, although again, it's not fully out, it's not breaking out quite yet, this could be the start of the breakout. And if we do get, let's say, into 275 plus tomorrow, 280 even, maybe not even 280, even before that, 273, 275, 277, that in my opinion is going to be confirmation of a breakout. So watch out for HD. GBTC, guys, oh man, Bitcoin collapsed today, and GBTC is a trust that holds Bitcoin, and we talked about this yesterday on the channel, saying watch out for any dip on GBTC. That should be interesting for a potential add, maybe, right? And today we got the dip. GBTC dropped over 15%. It is down over $10 from this high. It's down over 25% from its high, and it's well in a bear market right now. And it's crazy because yesterday, if you guys watched my video, I said I bought Bitcoin a couple times. The funny thing is, I've bought a little bit too much Bitcoin than I intended to these past 24 hours. I bought yesterday at 39,800, bought more at 39 or 38,000 something. I bought even more at like 2 a.m. here on the East Coast at 34,000. Somebody commented on my video, shout out to you. I was about to go to bed. Funny thing is, I was about to go to bed and somebody commented on my video. They said, oh, BTC's at 34,000 right now. And I was like, all right, let me buy a little bit more. I bought a little bit more right before bed. And then today it collapsed to 31,000 and I bought even more. And I think now that it's now that I'm filming this video at about 4:30 p.m. East Coast, it is sitting at about 33,000. And honestly, I think this could be the temporary bottom. We'll see. And if so, GBTC could also be a dip buy here on the 50 SMA on this 4-hour chart. And again, it's funny because I did not intend to buy about $400 or $500 of Bitcoin in the past 24 hours, but I did, and it's okay, guys, because as long as, and this goes with anything speculative, as long as you keep it a small portion of your overall wealth, and Bitcoin is a very tiny portion of mine, you should be fine, because if it goes to zero, if it goes bust, you're not going to lose a lot of money. It's not going to be life-changing, but if, let's say, you had 100% of your money in Bitcoin and it went bust, it would be a completely different story, right? So if you're dealing with speculative assets, put a little bit of money into them. That's just my opinion, right? Don't just throw your whole life savings at it. That's just my opinion, right? So the next one here is Rocket RKT. This is one that's been, I don't want to say slept on, but it's just been quiet. It hasn't really done much. I feel like it's waiting for an earnings report to explode, and it seems like they're due for earnings here in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure they are. I don't know exactly what day they are reporting earnings, but RKT is one worth watching for sure. You guys can see it's in this wedge. You can see it's downtrending lower highs, but at the same time, it's making higher lows. It's holding this 1920 level decently, and I think if we could break this 50 SMA 4-hour chart here, and even on this hourly chart, let's say we broke this 180 SMA, I think Rocket could be seeing a move maybe to $21, $22 within this wedge that is trading in on this 4-hour chart. You guys follow what I'm saying, right? From 20 to maybe 22, I could very well see that happening. And if that breaks the 22 level with a good earnings report, maybe some solid growth and guidance, RKT could be exploding back into the mid-20s. So I'm watching RKT closely. Ride is another one. Shout out to Lordstown Motors, guys. We got news. They received more than 100,000 pre-orders for their flagship product, the Lordstown Endurance, which is a cool, slick-looking pickup truck. If you guys haven't seen it, it is pretty cool. Look it up. And this stock exploded today. At one point, guys, it was up over 30%. I mean, that's unbelievable. It was up over $28, and it opened up the day at $22. That is a spike of over 20% intraday. And like I said, it was up about 30% from the close on Friday at one point. And you can see now on the 4-hour chart, now that we exploded upwards, we actually filled the gap that we were talking about in previous videos. And based on this chart here, you can see big support at about $18.80, $19. And you can see overall the previous two peaks that you can see here on Ride were $32 roughly and about $28, $29 roughly. And those were descending. And if I extended this, I just did extend it, or extended it to the right, you can see we're right at that third peak in the descending pattern right now, which is going to be interesting. This is the big point to watch. I think if we can break $27 in due time, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, 2 weeks from now, who knows, but I think if we can break that, that is going to be the breakout spot on Ride, where we could be going a little bit higher, maybe even a lot higher from where we are now, maybe $30, $32, which could yield a pretty fat move of over 15% from where it is right now. So shout out to Lordstown, 100,000 pre-orders. That is fantastic. SBE is another one here worth watching, guys. Take a look at it here on the 4-hour chart, right? We're seeing it broke out of $43 today, but it ultimately sold back off under $30 or $43, although it is maintaining the uptrend here on the 5-day 5-minute. So this one's a bit tricky, right? We're uptrending 5-day 5-minute. On the 4-hour chart, we're still within this channel, the uptrending channel. You guys can see indicating there is a little bit more upside to maybe the mid 40s, high 40s, but in the middle of this channel, what you guys are also seeing, and I'm going to point yet again another one out, is a head and shoulder potentially forming. Left shoulder there, head shoulder, or not the head shoulder. I always freaking say that, head shoulder. I meant the head is right here at 49.50, and the right shoulder could be forming, keyword could be forming, here at $43 if we fail to break out of here, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, next week, whatever, right? Because let's say we fail at 43, we could easily be filling the gap down maybe to $38, $39, maybe even towards the bottom of this channel, which could be in the mid-30s. So that is what you have to be careful about. For me, SB needs to clearly break 44, 45 for me to enter into it on the momentum into the high 40s. But again, if 43 fails, be mindful of that right shoulder maybe forming, as we are seeing a bit of resistance under this neckline. So that's SBE. Tesla is also pulling down. It pulled down about 8% today. Thank you. Finally, right, a little bit of a pull down here on Tesla. I'm not complaining, down 8% today. And I think the closer it does get to this 50 SMA on this 4-hour chart, whether it's 750, 775, 760, the closer it gets there, I think that gets more and more interesting. It gets more and more attractive the closer it gets to that point. And you guys have to realize, and I saw a lot of people in the chat today, and again, that's linked down below and it's free of charge to join. A lot of people in different forums that I read, they're like, why the heck is Tesla pulling down? And I'm like, guys, what the heck? Do you think it has to go up every single day? It's healthy for it to pull down. And like I said, I'm happy about this, and I'd love to see it anywhere from 700 to 750. That could be a good buying point in my humble opinion. So watch out for Tesla. NIO is another one that a lot of people are like, what the heck? NIO selling off. I mean, it really didn't. It went up 6%, but people were like, why is it selling off? And again, guys, things that get overbought, they tend to sell off. And you guys know, I mentioned in yesterday's video, NIO Day was great, and I expected maybe a little bit of a pop on Monday and maybe a sell-off after that. And you guys can see that is what we're getting. We got that little pop after NIO Day. It was up about 10% at one point. It still closed up 6.4%, which is great, but it pulled down. It's actually down a lot. Wow, that's crazy. It's down from $67. Now it's trading, wow, it's down even more after hours. Crap, it's down another $2, down 4% after hours. This is what I'm talking about. It is down almost 10% now from its high of the day into the after hours session. So NIO, guys, this could be selling off. And like I also said yesterday, with a lot of these events, Tesla Day, NIO Day, a lot of the time, the stocks, they sell off after the event. It's kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news, buy the hype, sell the news. That's honestly what we could be seeing right now. So I'm not touching NIO. I mean, I would like to see it more into the mid 50s. If we could get 55, that would be a nice spot in my opinion. I would probably buy, a couple hundred shares in my swing account if that were to happen. But where we are now, I'm not pulling the trigger quite yet. I'm just watching it, and you guys know I already have a long-term position, so either way, I'm making money. but we'll see. That's ticker symbol NIO. And the last one here is ExxonMobil, ticker symbol XOM, which we've been talking about like crazy here on the channel. I actually mentioned it a couple of weeks ago when it was at $42 that I was buying it. I liked the dividend. I thought it was a great recovery play, so I bought a good amount in some long-term accounts. And today we got some news that Morgan Stanley analyst Devin McDermott, shout out to Devin McDermott, he raised his rating on the stock to overweight from equal weight and wrote that the stock could return 30% after including dividends with a new price target at $57. So yeah, Morgan Stanley is pretty bullish on XOM. Same with your boy Stas here, guys. And they also think Morgan Stanley, they expect $60 Brent oil price in the second half of 2021. And at this point, CL, let's see what it's at, it's trading at about 52. So I agree, guys. And again, I've been saying here on the channel, I'm bullish XOM and energy stocks, and I'm probably going to continue buying these. So overall, that's it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. Let's try to get 400 likes. Is the video at 400 likes yet? If not, hit that like button. I challenge you guys, subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure to join the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group. Get yourself 4 stocks from WeBull. All you have to do is deposit $100, and you get 4 stocks valued up to $1,600. And you could also get $30 free from M1 Finance. All you have to do is open up an account with them and deposit any amount of money. And both of those accounts to open, they're linked right down below in the description box. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there, guys,